So, good night, everyone. Welcome to season 1, episode 3 of Immigration Simplified, where I discuss everything Canadian immigration and try to break down all the different processes and pathways, all the different immigration terms and jargon, so that persons could be a little more informed when it is they're looking at their options for Canada or just migration on the whole. So my name is Kayande Devonish. I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. And what that means is that I am licensed by the government of Canada to provide immigration services to foreign nationals or even persons in Canada who want to apply for citizenship or anything else. All right. And I always stress on the fact that whoever you're using, whether it's me or another consultant, you make sure that they're registered and licensed by the government of Canada before you pay anyone any money for any kind of immigration services or employment services. Okay? So I hope with this knowledge that I'm giving out each week that you become a little more informed and understand what are your options, what are your pathways, and also that if it is you're using someone to help you, that you must ensure that they are licensed, because that of course will be detrimental to your application as well if Canada finds out you're using someone who's unlicensed. Okay, and if you want to find out how to know if someone's licensed, I would have spoke about that in my first live where I directed persons to the website, the official government of Canada website, where there is a list of all the regulated immigration consultants. And for example, if you put in my name, you could see my name there listed with my license number, my address, and if it has any liens against me, if there's any persons who would have filed complaints, you would also see that as well. So if you're seeing that, hey, this person's under investigation, you might have to be a little wary about them or find out why are they being investigated. Okay, so last 2 weeks we have discussed about the Canadian work permits and what are the different types of work permits. So we discussed there's open work permits, which are not employer specific, and only a few persons qualify for those. And if you want to get more into that was in the last episode, episode 2. And we also discussed closed work permits, which are employer specific work permits. So tonight we'll be going more into those, because those are the ones you need to use a resume to get the employer's attention before you could even get a work permit. So remember, to get a work permit to Canada, you need a job offer. You don't apply for a work permit and then you look for a job. You get a job, and once there's an official job, a qualifying job from a legitimate employer, you now apply to the government of Canada through the Immigration High Commission or the embassy, whichever one is in your country, and you get a work permit. Okay? For those of you joining now, welcome. I will be taping the recording it so that you can view it for later on tonight, or if it is you want to watch it over, or if you're now getting to see the beginning. Okay? Also, I'll be answering questions at the end of the live, so you can use the questions button at the bottom of the screen, and you can put your questions there, and then I can go through it at the end of the live. Please do not put any personal questions or personal details there to maintain confidentiality, of course. And if you want to discuss something personal with me, you could always DM me after. Okay? And anything that I speak here is not constituted as legal advice. This is just general information on general processes. Okay? So let's get into it. So the first thing I decided to talk about was what exactly is a Canadian resume. So, when you hear that, like a Canadian resume, you're thinking, oh my gosh, is this like a specific resume that is only, you only use in Canada? So when I talk about what a Canadian resume is, I'm basically talking about what Canadian employers and recruiters will look for in a resume, because I've had a lot of clients, they send me these very modern and very pretty resumes, but if this is what you're sending to hiring managers or employers, off the bat, I know they are not passing through the AI systems that these employers use, which I would discuss later on in the live, right? So Canada uses a very traditional and very simple reverse chronological or chronological resumes. Basically, that is a resume that lists your skills and your work experience up front, and then it lists your education. So things like, you know, putting in your photos, making it, put all these other images, they are not able to be read by AI. AI is only reading words. So all of the fancy resumes, I'm telling you, if this is what you've been sending out to employees in Canada, it is not even reaching their desk. Okay? So Canada resumes, basically, as I said, traditional resumes, chronological order, mean you're putting things like, what were your job duties? What did you accomplish in each job? Those things are very important, not just listing, hey, I did ABC, but what did you accomplish? Quantifying it, put in numbers. Okay, you saved the company X amount of dollars or X amount of time, and actually showing what you as an employee did for the company, right? And that's how a resume is set. Like if you have two engineers who have the same job duties, that's what they set them apart by looking to see what did they contribute to the resume. So that is very important to put on your resume. All right. A traditional chronological resume would include things like starting with a header that will have your full name. It will have your job title, and as I'll get more into this, job title can change depending on what the job description asks for. Because in some cases, say you're applying for like an account executive, they might call it an account executive post or an account administrator post, and whatever is listed on the job title, you have to put that specific title into the resume. Okay, so you can't just say, okay, finance executive. You have to use the specific job title that is on the job post that you're applying for. Okay. And things like your contact information, whether it be your email, phone number for them to reach you as, is also there, followed by your professional summary or your list of skills. This is where you would put things like if you're you have any certifications or your soft skills, communication, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Office, written and oral communication skills, whatever's listed on the job description, you know, put that into your professional summary to show that you do possess those skills. And then you'd list your work experience with the current or your present job, and going back down to your first job, you know, that you have gotten. And then you end off with your education, and if you're involved in any volunteer groups or any sporting groups. Okay, it should be at least 1 to 2 pages max. But we always tell clients to keep it to 1 page, because these recruiters, they take probably 30 seconds to just skim your resume, if so much. And you want to make it as simple and as easy to read as possible. Okay? So that's just a basic idea of what a Canadian style resume is. Okay? So getting into some tips on creating a very strong Canadian style resume. So even though it is simple, right, we still want it to be a tool that we use to actually get our foot into the door to get an interview. So that is where we have something called the targeted resume. So I would always suggest a client start with a master resume. This is a resume that lists everything you've done from since you've graduated, after your bachelor's or CXC or whatever level you're at. Every single thing, just list everything. That's your master resume. But as you start to apply for jobs, we're not sending out that master resume to each job. You now have to target that resume to the specific job posting that we're going to apply for. Okay, so what do I mean by targeted? Targeted just means you have the certain keywords or certain words that are explicitly used in the job posting. You now literally copy and paste those exact words into your resume. And I'll explain why that is needed in the next point. But that's basically what a targeted resume is. You're taking whatever is in the job posting and adding it to your resume, right? And the reason we do this is because we have to show that we're putting time and effort into resumes and not just sending out one resume that we might not even qualify for in the first place. And employers will know if it is just send a generic resume, right? Or basically your master resume. Okay, so looking to see what are the systems that employers or recruiters use to basically shortlist or select candidates. So in Canada and even in North America, I've heard they use something called ATS, which is basically an applicant tracking software, which is AI, and they would pass your resume through that ATS to see how well you match to the job position that they are hiring for. And how do they how does the ATS match you is based on the keywords. So the recruiter, they will put in their specific job posting that they would have posted whether on Indeed or LinkedIn or Monster or whatever website you have seen a job posting. They will have put that exact job posting into the ATS software, and the ATS software will now scan your resume to see how well it matches. If the job posting says they want 8 years and you have 3 years, the ATS will basically put 0 because they want to see 8 years. If they say, okay, we want Microsoft Word, and you put Microsoft Office, you will get 0 there as well because you need to put Microsoft Word. So that is what I meant by using keywords. You want to ensure that whatever is listed on the job posting, you have those specific words. And that is how you increase your chances of being shortlisted and having a higher percentage. Okay? Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I was just looking through the comments at yeah. So basically, when it is we look at applicant tracking systems, you say, why do recruiters use that? So the same way how applying to jobs is very time consuming and even stressful for us as job persons looking for jobs, it is also stressful for the recruiters and the employers looking for the candidates. Imagine Canada has about 40 million persons. So on average, they might get anywhere between 500 to 1,000 resumes, depending on what level, for maybe an entry level or even a mid-management level. Maybe for executives, it would be less because that's more refined. But if you're just applying for like entry-level jobs or mid-level, you would have a lot of competition. So employers and recruiters don't have time to be going through 1,000 resumes. That's why they use the ATS software to fine-tune it down to probably 50 to 80 resumes. And they match it and say, okay, we want these exact qualifications, we want these exact skills, we want this exact experience, and let us see, okay, the persons who match it by 80% or 90%, those are the ones that the recruiters will now go and review and call for interviews, right? So to increase your chances of getting a higher score using that ATS, you now have to match the job title and match the job description as much in your resume. So how do we actually do the job matching? So for my clients, I usually allow them, I send them a link. You can actually do this for free for yourself. There's a free website called JobScan, which is a ATS software, which of course won't be as intricate as what the employers would pay to use for their employment purposes, but it is still a good gauge where you can put in your resume and align it with the job. So you put in your resume, you paste that into one section of the website, and then you paste the exact job posting for the job you're applying for on the other side, and then they will tell you some ways in terms of how to improve your resume to increase your percentage, basically. Right? So the main thing is the percentage to make sure how much you're matching the original job posting. So the website is called JobScan, and with the free version, there's a free and a paid version. I think you're allowed 5 scans per month, and if it is, sometimes you can get it wrong like that by just using different emails or these things we as Caribbean people do to not have to pay the subscription fee. But I won't suggest that, as I said, you send out that's one resume to many different jobs, because you will not be passing that ATS software. So if it is that you're really serious about it and you really want to say apply for more than 5 jobs a month and you want to invest and pay for the job scan, that's all on you. You can go ahead. As I said, you can just Google jobscan.com and it will come up there. So let me see. Okay, great. So in terms of so now we've basically perfected our resume. We understand what the targeted resume is, how to actually put our best foot forward. Where now do we actually get jobs that are willing to hire foreign nationals? Because not all jobs that you see on Indeed or Workopolis or LinkedIn or even Monster, those employers are allowed to hire foreign nationals. So in my live last 2 weeks, I would have mentioned something called the labor market impact assessment that employers need to get. And that is basically something from the government of Canada, a document saying that, yes, there's a need for foreign national, and you as an employer are allowed to now hire foreign national because there are no Canadian or permanent residents in Canada who are able to fulfill or do this job, because maybe they already have another job, or probably they're not in that specific area. So where do we find these LMIA approved jobs, right? So these jobs, we can find it on the government of Canada's official recruitment site, which is Canada Job Bank. So this is literally like a pot of gold right here. The government of Canada is the one who would give the employers this positive LMIA. And now they are showing you who these employers are, so that if someone reaches out to you, say, hi, we have a job offer for you, pay us $1,000 and we will get this job for you. You can now say, okay, no problem. Sure. What is the name of the employer? And what is the position? You can now go onto Job Bank and see that is a legitimate job. You don't just get excited and say, oh my gosh, someone just reached out to me from in the universe and they just gave me this job. Because I've heard a lot of clients say someone reached out to me and they want me to send them X amount of money for this job. And I'm like, okay, where's the job? They have no information. They don't have much information. Or if they do have information, if I verify it, it's not a real job. So you yourself could go on the Canada Job Bank and get the list of all the employers who have a positive LMIA from the government of Canada, which means that this is a legitimate job, and also that they are allowed to hire foreign nationals, meaning persons who have no status in Canada. You don't have a work permit, you're not a resident, and you're not a citizen. Okay? So if you go on Job Bank right now, literally like 8:18. So when I checked about a minute ago, there were about 9,700 jobs, meaning LMIA jobs. If it is you go onto the website, you could go to the bottom of the website and just type select temporary foreign worker search, and then you would see all of those jobs there. You could even further refine it by the filters by looking to see LMIA approved and as well as LMIA pending. So LMIA approved means you already have the LMIA in hand, and pending means that the employer is now going through the process with the government of Canada to now get this approval. Okay, so this is, as I said, this is basically a pot of gold for anyone who's looking for employers hiring foreign workers. And once you go there and you find a job that matches what you think you would like to do, and your experience and education matches the job title and the job description, you now create a targeted resume. Remember, targeted, and ensure you have the keywords from Job Bank, and you ensure you put that into your resume that you're applying for that specific job, and then you apply, and then let the gods be with you. But usually I've had clients who, when they do the targeted, they get back a response. And not because you have a targeted resume means you're going to just get the job. Of course not. But it gives you a better chance not using a random or a master resume. So once it is, you're getting a lot of interviews or calls, that means you're doing something right. That means you're targeting properly. Your experience is good. But it may just be that, that there's another candidate who's probably a little better. But I won't say give up hope. Just continue doing what you're doing, and eventually something would land in your pocket. All right? So, okay, let me just check to see. Okay, guys, so I'm seeing a lot of persons now joining as well. Just to reiterate that this live will be recorded and saved, and I will be uploading it onto my Instagram feed, onto my wall, so for viewing later on, okay? And if you have any questions, you can always put it into the questions chat, and I would answer it at the end of the live, probably in the next 2 minutes. All right? So we spoke about the Canadian resume, some tips on perfecting it and targeting and using your keywords. And we also talked about some websites. So apart from Job Bank, which has the LMIA approved jobs, you could also go onto websites like Indeed.ca. When you're looking for jobs, you can put in into the, say you're an engineer, you can put in engineer LMIA jobs. Once you put in LMIA, so jobs with that approval should come up in the search. Sometimes employers say they have the LMIA and they don't. So with everything, it's always good to do your due diligence as always. Hi, good night. So do your due diligence. If it is you want me to just reach out to them, because I've done that on a number of bases where I called the employer. You know, I was like, hi, good day. I call as though I am applying. And sometimes if it feels off or I just get a sense that something's not right, I would let the client know, and it's up to them if they want to go ahead and still go through with it. But sometimes if I get a hunch in my stomach, I know that something is not right, and I would not go through with it, because there are a lot of different companies and even individuals preying on persons who are looking to come to Canada to work and to live. And they just see this as, you know, taking advantage of persons who are not knowledgeable or who are even like just looking for a better situation. So they prey on them. So I always say, if something is not feeling good in your spirit, or you doing your due diligence and it's not feeling right, let the opportunity pass you. What if it's supposed to be yours, it would come back to you. Okay, but in everything, do your due diligence. Ensure that if you're working with a consultant that they're licensed, that you go and verify their credentials on the Government of Canada website. Go and check to make sure that their name and their license number matches up. If you're using an employment agency as well, make sure that they are licensed and accredited as well in whatever jurisdiction they're in. You know, I don't like when persons say they paid money and then they didn't hear back from them and these things. And I'll be like, okay, did you do your due diligence? Did you find out this? Like, no, well, they reached out to me. No. Yes, so I saw somebody put the link in the chat, the Job Bank link for the LMIA jobs, and yes. So if you just Google it, it should come up, and all official websites of Canada would have Canada.ca, right, or GC, which is Government of Canada.ca. So if you're seeing a website trying to mimic it as well, you could always send me and be like, hi Kai, is this the website, so I can just verify, because you don't want to be using sites that redirect you to like a phony website. Okay, so other sites you can check is Indeed.ca, Monster.ca, Workopolis, even LinkedIn. Reach out to employers on LinkedIn, explain your situation. You know, if you seem enthusiastic and that's an employer that is already hiring foreign nationals, they might be like, wow, you know, like I was actually looking for someone and they just like the interaction they have with you, they like that you're a go-getter, you came directly to them, you know. So of course, you know, you don't be too overpowering, but you know, you just go and you explain yourself to them on LinkedIn very professionally, and then, you know, you don't know what can happen. Thank you so much. Yes, yeah. All right, so the last topic that I have was, right, so we're talking about that, so the legitimate job postings. So in another aspect, someone asked me, when can you use your master resume? So you can only use your master resume, I would suggest, if it is you're going direct, like you're walking into a company physically, and there might be no job posting online. But you know, you just want to present or give that recruiter or employee with your resume, you can use your master resume, because there's no job description or job posting that you're actually applying to. You just putting yourself out there. So in that case, you're able to list all of your educational credentials, all of your work experiences. But if it is you're looking for something, say something in IT, and you know, and you've seen positions from that company already, you try to mimic that job posting a little bit, but not too stringent, because you still want to be open to any IT position you might have in the company. So you list all your different credentials, your certifications, and these things. And as with always, you keep it simple and traditional. Canada is very strong and traditional. Even when I receive resumes and it's modern, I have to be looking all over the page to find out where their skills, where's the education. And this is just me looking at one resume in 1 hour. I kind of get a little flustered. So you don't want to miss out on a chance by just having this overly modern and complicated resume, which might look good in your hand, but on paper, when an employer has to go through hundreds, they want to just see work experience on top, your skills, education. They want to see it in that order, right? If you're submitting directly to the employers, the same list from the government of Canada that are showing what employers has received positive LMIAs in the past, you can Google that. You can just Google positive LMIA employees in Canada and you see a list of employers. So you know that these employers would have already received permission from the government to hire foreign nationals before, because it's on their website. You could reach out to them, just call them, say, hi, good day, I saw that you had a positive LMIA. It could have been a current one or probably one from last year, because it goes back, I think, to 2014 on the Government of Canada website. And you can reach out to them to see if they are willing to hire another foreign national, seeing that they would have gone through the process already, received a positive LMIA, and you don't know if they might be looking for someone in the future. They might keep you in mind. They might keep you on file for when that is coming up. Or they might even give you advice and let you know, hey, we have a neighboring company or maybe another branch who's also in the process of doing this. But with everything that you do, you have to ensure that you're putting your best foot forward, doing the research, and just marketing yourself really well. Because even for myself, coming to Canada, nothing was like handed to me or given to me. It wasn't easy. Like, I wouldn't sit here and say, oh my gosh, as I came to Canada, I just got the job of my dreams. No. It was me reaching out, networking, going on LinkedIn, being stressed out. I did not have the knowledge of knowing, okay, don't send out generic resumes, do targeted resumes. So I was just sending out hundreds of resumes, getting no reply, thinking, but this job is much lower than what I could do, and I'm still not getting a call back for a lower level job. Like, what is going on? But it all came back down to me not even passing the ATS software, because nothing in my resume would have given me any points to even match the resume by probably 10%. So now that I knew this, I would have gone through different job trainings and recruitment with some companies in Canada, and understanding how the Canadian work permits and the resumes and the recruitment system works. I'm now able to share it with you all, so that you all don't have to make the same mistakes and waste as much time as I did. Although it was a learning experience to me, but hopefully that my experience helps you. Okay, so as I said, the last thing is the submitting directly to employers. That's okay to use your master resume. I wouldn't use generic. I would say master, because you're not applying directly for a specific job post, but just putting your best foot forward to the employer. All right, and you can get that list by just Googling LMIA employers in Canada that were approved. You don't, and the list will come up with all the Excel for whichever year, whichever quarter that you're interested in. Okay, so I know it's 8:30, and I always strive to be on time and finish on time. If there are any questions, I would just take 1 minute. I think I answered all the questions throughout my life of whoever asked. If you all have anything else that you would like to ask now, you can ask. And I want to say thank you again for joining me this week, my 3rd episode. I really enjoy doing these things with you all and sharing the knowledge. And then after the live, when people message me and say, oh my gosh, Kai, I'm so happy to just get the knowledge, because I've been applying to 100 jobs and hearing back nothing. And I'm thinking that, I'm doing something wrong, and, learning from your mistakes now, and, just knowing, okay, from tomorrow I'm going to do a different thing and get a different result. Okay. Hi, Auntie Macrina. Okay, so thank you all again. For the next live, I would be bringing on some persons who would have gone through the work permit route in Canada, and what their experience was like. How did they get a work permit in Canada? They could be from Trinidad or Jamaica. I probably might get about 2 or 3 persons, and then you can come with your questions so that you can ask them how was their experience Where did they go to get the job offer, or where did they go to apply for the jobs? What was their experience like with the resume and the job hunting? All right, because I know when I talk and I'm like, okay, I'm the consultant, but you want to hear from real people who would have gone through the work permit pathway. Because I didn't go through that pathway. I would have just done it through, I would have done full migration based on my experience and my education. But I want to bring on persons who would have done the work permit route. Okay, so I'm seeing no questions, and so I'll see you all in 2 weeks. Okay, and remember, with everything, we use licensed and regulated consultants. Verify that you're regulated and licensed with the government of Canada, and your immigration journey should not be stressful at all. Okay, so if you have any questions or any advice that you need, you could always feel free to DM me, and I will be happy to respond to any questions. Okay, have a great night. Thank you again.